The queen never chases. Let me repeat that. The queen never chases. So let me break this down. As a woman, when you are running a program where you have been programmed to overfunction, to overgive, to prove and earn love from early conditioning where you learned from your caregivers that love was conditional, or that, being a very good girl, or you were, overly responsible. You may be bringing into your adult life a program and a belief, a subconscious pattern that you have to earn love. And how that translates into relationships that are unfulfilling and not very meaningful for you, is when you begin to chase men rather than allowing them to move to you, to initiate, to plan. So if you're a woman who is falling into situationships, or you're a woman where men aren't taking the next step in commitment, or aren't taking the relationship very seriously, or if you're a woman who has a pattern of half loves and almost loves where the connection is great, but you're never actually entering into a divine or sacred partnership with that person, there is a root pattern underlining that. So here's what the queen will do. The queen can make her feelings known, but then you step back and you allow space for the king to step forward, because you know that the king pursues. You trust deeply and you understand that men are very simple. If a man is interested in you, he is going to pursue you. He's going to initiate. Now, what can happen is when you're running the pattern that you have to earn love, you can begin to chase him and try and make plans and um, come up with stories for why he might not be initiating and stepping into his leadership role. Um, Men are designed energetically to initiate and to pursue women that they are interested in. And, you know, this can cause a lot of pain and disillusionment, especially when we wind it up with attachment issues as well. So if you're a woman with anxious attachment, that this avoidant man not who is breadcrumbing you, or he's giving you intermittent communication, rather than you stepping into your worthiness and your queen energy and your power, knowing that this is not something that I'm going to tolerate, because it's not what I want from a partner. Because you're running two loops, because on one level you haven't really accepted that you're designed to receive. You're designed to select the men who are ready to show up in their king energy, and then you allow them, or I hate to use the phrase inspire, but you allow them to then pursue you. You will chase, you will double text, you will um try to initiate. And what happens is you start taking on this very masculine role in the relationship, and that becomes draining for you. Um, and so anyway, moving back to what I was saying, we're dealing with a an underlying belief that love has to be earned. So the more that they retreat, and the more that your aura starts to kind of penetrate and kind of cling, the man is, when he's not interested, or he's not ready, or he's not in a position, he is going to retreat. And the more he retreats, the more you're going to to desire or obsess over this person. And really, what you want to do is develop the identity of a woman who knows that that is not a healthy dynamic for you and it's not what you want. And the second thing, so we're looking at, so if you have an anxious attachment style, or if that person's avoidant and you notice that you begin to wait for their call. You're waiting for them to text back. You're initiating a text and they don't respond, and you find yourself in the energy of waiting a lot of the time. You know that there is an imbalance here in a dynamic, and it's not an alignment for you. A man knows what he wants. He's certain. There is no confusion, and he will go and with precision to go and get it. And I'll give you an example of how this happened for me. Um, Whew, gotta chill. This is the story of one of my ghosts from lovers past. And in 2014, we were introduced, and he pursued me like it was like he was there all the anytime I turned around, he was there. He would make plans, he initiated, he was always around me. Like there was no doubt that this man was deeply, deeply enamored and what happened was it created a lot of safety. So we built a really strong emotional bond and emotional connection and passionate sexual relationship because we he had created because the polarity was correct. He had created the conditions of deep safety, and it allowed me to surrender into deep vulnerability and connection. But what happened was it wasn't, to be, and it ended up kind of messy in the end because he actually had another partner that he'd gone back to. Again, none of this really matters in this story. What matters is 10 years later, he came back into my life after I had declared to the universe that I had wanted to find sacred union. And I was 5 years celibate. I broke my celibacy with him, and um, he wasn't pursuing me. But because I was so obsessed with the past and the connection that we'd had in the past, I had this overwhelming desire to connect with him. I wanted, I was chasing him down. I was texting all the time and getting nothing in return. And it was the first time that I noticed because I'd worked on my avoidant attachment styles. So in the past, I'd been very nonchalant I was very avoidant. I liked my own space. I was very, very aloof. But with him, it was like I wanted connection. I wanted to reconnect with that way that we'd had in the past. And he wasn't playing ball. And so what I learned was I had this disorganized attachment that showed up, but it wasn't that I have a disorganized attachment. What I learned was there was no safety in that connection. And so it wasn't that I was needy or clingy or that I have this anxious attachment or disorganized attachment. What it is that this wasn't a safe relationship. It wasn't an aligned relationship. If a man is not moving towards you, it's because he doesn't want you, and it's not personal. But what the queen does, she lets go. She lets go, and she knows that she shed her heart, and she will never manipulate the situation to be chosen. She chooses herself. When you choose yourself, what is aligned for you will start to magnetize and come to you. Now, sometimes, and what I say, this guy was a gift because he was a mirror to what patterns needed to be shifted inside me so that I could move towards and be attractive to and to be attracted to the actual man in his king energy, the man who is in life ready, pursuing his purpose, ready to show up, ready for commitment. And this guy, we closed this chapter with him expressing his deep love and reverence for the connection that we had. He, stated it was an unmatchable connection, but he's not in his power. He's not in his king energy. He's not in his life is not set up. for what I needed and what I wanted. But he got to mirror in me where I needed to step up into the queen and move out of that wounded maiden behavior, where I was still trying to earn love. So I'll finish this video by saying, when a queen chooses herself, so when you choose yourself and you reclaim your energy and you release and let go of anything that you know deeply is not aligned for you, you start to magnetize absolutely everything that is and the king that is ready for you. And I always say, there is no loss. Everything's an opportunity. Every challenge we go through, every initiation, every experience is an opportunity for us to step more into the alignment and the identity of who our soul wants us to be. It's the evolutionary path of the maiden to the queen.